What's going on, family? My name is Coach Stan. I'm a certified fitness trainer, strength and conditioning coach, however you want to phrase it, man. I help people reach their fitness goals and their athletic goals as well too. The main reason why I kind of got into this industry was because, I've been active my whole life playing multiple sports, football, basketball, soccer, and just seeing how important it is to be healthy and to stay active, and how I was able to transition out of me playing college football and then coming back out and still trying to keep those same systems in my life in order to make sure that I'm doing the right things and keeping myself healthy. And I also, obviously have family members and I have friends and people that I know who aren't in the best shape of their life and haven't been eating the right foods and haven't been doing the right things in terms of staying active. And so how could I be a asset or an outlet to them? And this was just one of the ways that it's like, I've been doing this for so long. Why not broaden my education and my scope on this a little bit more to be able to, give feedback and insights to people when they do have these questions or trying to reach these goals. Today, what I have for you guys, I put together a presentation of things that I've seen in terms of when people are trying to reach their goals, some things that may be in their way, may be hindering them. And so I titled this presentation, 3 Reasons Why You Aren't Getting Ahead in Your Fitness Results. And I try to break it down into 3 simple things, which I call the 3 Ps for success. It's going to be protein, and obviously under that umbrella of protein is going to be nutrition, periodization in terms of planning your workouts, having an actual set schedule of what workouts you're going to be doing throughout the week and not just kind of freestyling your workouts, and perseverance and persistence, which is just something that I feel like in this industry, people know that they're supposed to do things over and over and over again, but just to kind of re-emphasize why that's so important. So here's our 3 Ps for success. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start with the protein aspect now. Why is protein important? Protein is important because our body uses it to synthesize body tissue, which means that it helps our body build and repair muscle tissue when we break those things down. So when I go and exercise, right, and I am doing bicep curls or squats or whatever it is, the whole goal is for me to create little microscopic tears in the muscle. And what protein's job is, it comes through and it basically builds back that tissue to be healthier and stronger. So the next time you can either do that weight again or maybe even be able to go a little bit heavier and progress with it. It also provides a satiety aspect in terms of, when I eat protein, it keeps me more full throughout the day. So I'm not looking for little snacks and things to chew on, but I know I'm not supposed to eat and going to get ice cream out the fridge and things like that. So if I'm eating more protein throughout my day, it helps keep me more full and kind of curb me away from some of the things that I know I'm not supposed to be eating, but I'm not eating the right things. So if I'm not eating the right things, I may be a little bit more hungrier because my body digests it a lot easier. And last but not least, protein doesn't convert to body fat as easily as carbs and fats do, because carbs and fats' main job is obviously to give you energy, and fats has a whole different umbrella of things that it helps too. But when we don't use the carbs or use the fats, it breaks down in our body and it gets stored for later use. Now, over time, if we just keep eating, an abundance of carbs and abundance of fats, and we don't exercise, and we're not using that energy, it basically just creates a bigger and bigger storage, which is how we continue to increase our weight. So think of the standard American diet. And let's say I'm going to any restaurant, they serve burgers, they serve pizza, they serve pasta. And that's the reason why I have the pasta dishes on the screens, because like, if you really think of any place you go and you're going to say, hey, I want to go get some pasta, think of the portion size in terms of how much pasta carbs they give you and how much protein, whether that be chicken or shrimp or anything. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have way more carbs on your plate than protein, and that isn't going to help us necessarily reach our fitness goals, because again, if I'm not eating a certain amount of protein, I'm not going to be able to build back that aspect of muscle tissue. If I'm eating too much carbs and I'm not exercising, that's just going to increase my excess storage of these carbs, which is going to allow me to gain weight over time. So we want to kind of have these palettes flipped. If you think about it, we want to have a good amount of protein, if not more protein than we have carbs, right? And obviously you want to supplement your carbs in there. If you're an athlete, it's a little bit different. We need a lot more of both. If you do want to, gain weight, build back stronger muscles, and also have energy for your workouts and things of that nature. But for general population, we really do need to bring down the amount of carbs that we're eating, and not demonizing carbs and saying that carbs are bad and we shouldn't have any carbs. But we need to significantly reduce the amount of carbs we have and start placing more of an emphasis on our protein intake. Okay. So how much protein? The gold standard is 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. And if you're using the kilogram scale, that's anywhere from 1.5 to 1.6 kilograms of body weight, which equates to the same thing. So, for example, if I'm 200 pounds, right, and my goal is obviously to lose some weight, I need to increase my protein intake. What is the minimum amount of protein I should be eating throughout the week, every single day? It would be, again, 200 times that 0.07, which is 140 grams of protein. And I try to make that 91 kilograms is pretty much the same thing as a 200 pounds, very close. So 91 kilograms times, again, that other golden rule, which was 1.5 to 1.6, you get about the same thing. And obviously, if you're not eating anywhere near 140 grams of protein, I'm not going to tell you tomorrow, hey, wake up and start eating this whole lot of protein. You kind of have to build that up because it's going to be hard in the beginning if you haven't been doing that throughout your whole life. So if you're not eating 70 grams of protein a day, I say start there automatically. I mean, everybody should at least be, in the ballpark of 70 grams of protein. If you're eating 70 grams of protein, try to increase that to 100. If you're eating whatever it is, right? So whatever your body weight is, again, you want to be able to eat that. Some people will say eat your goal body weight in grams of protein. So if I'm 180 pounds and I want to get down to, 140, then again, I need to be eating 140 grams of protein, right? But ease your way into it and gradually, slowly increase that protein intake over time. Don't just try to dive headfirst into it because it is going to be hard. And you may end up falling out when it is that hard. So here's some protein recommendations that we can eat. We obviously have the meat, dairy, and poultry. Meats are beef, pork. Your dairy can be your eggs. Cheese has some protein in it too. Poultry is actually going to be chicken, your turkey. For people who are more so, vegetarian, maybe even vegans, other options would be lentils, nuts, beans, peanut butter, hummus and chickpeas, protein shakes as well too. Realize that some of these things are not a very high significant protein source, which means that I'm going to have to eat a lot more lentils to get 20, 25 grams of protein, or a lot more nuts than I would have to eat in a chicken breast or, a pound of beef or whatever it is, right? And then also think, if I'm eating, for example, if I'm eating peanuts, like I get peanuts out of a can or peanut butter, there's other things in that peanut butter as well too in terms of fat, what I'm saying, and other nutrients as well. So you kind of have to balance it out a little bit. We can go a little more into like the MyFitnessPal and tracking and all that stuff. Not to say that you don't necessarily have to do that. I think it's very useful, especially in the beginning. If we don't know how much of what nutrient we're eating, we could be overeating on our fats and not even know it. We could be overeating on our carbs and not even know it, because it's just a lot of different things that we're eating, we're getting from the grocery stores. They have added stuff in there, and if we're not paying attention to that, we can accumulate more stuff than we need to over time. And then obviously I have the BCAAs in there too. Those are, another good protein source as well too, but also a good muscle recovery tool as well. So now we're going to move on to periodization. So what does that mean? Basic definition is the division of a training program into smaller progressive stages. This is basically saying, hey, I'm going to have a set workout for my upper body, my lower body, whatever it is. I'm going to do that for X amount of time. And then when that time is over, I'm going to switch it up. But I'm not going to go into the gym and just freestyle my workout. I'm going to have a plan. When I get in there, it's going to be easy for me to just execute that plan and go through. Not having a structured plan to reach your goals is like driving to a foreign location without a map. Like if I'm in Maryland and I want to drive down to Florida, and I'm gonna just get in my car and start driving, hopefully hope that I get there one day. That's not possible, right? And that's not feasible. So we need to have a structure in terms of, okay, when I get into the gym, what am I gonna do? How many times per week am I gonna exercise to help me reach my goals? What are the things I'm gonna eat, right? And kind of bringing in these different pieces into the puzzle to make sure that I am achieving those goals that I'm supposed to be. So essentially, you want to create a workout plan that's aligned with your goals. Don't go on IG or TikTok or Twitter and just see, hey, I got, this person, let me go do Idris Elba's workout program, or let me go do whose workout program was he was doing The Rock, or they were doing he was trying to, I'm forgetting his name, Michael B. Jordan, everybody was trying to do Michael B. Jordan workout, the workout he was doing when he was trying to get fit for Creed. And you got to understand, like, if your goals aren't to get big, strong muscles and put on 30, 40 pounds, you don't need to be doing his workout. Don't get on and look at Jessica Alba and look at her workout and see that. Like, understand, hey, I have this goal. I need to structure my program in a way that I can hit this goal and be able to kind of rinse and repeat this over and over and over again. I'm not just going to go and do anybody's workout because everybody doesn't have the same goals as I do, right? And typically, a workout programs will run for about 4 to 6 weeks before you do need to switch it up. Sometimes in the gym that I'm working at, PR Strength, we do workout program over 3 weeks with our athletes, just again, so they don't get bored. But you don't want to be switching up workouts every single week. You want to allow your body to be able to progress through those and honestly be able to learn the movements and be able to, build muscle and build repetition through those movements for at least 4 weeks. If you're more of a beginner, then you can kind of extend those to like another 5 or 6 weeks. I don't even know why I said beginner like that. That's funny. But you could extend that out. But after that, you need to be able to switch those things out, because if I don't, right, throughout the first 3-4 weeks, I'm going to start to see that gradual increase of me. Hey, I'm building muscle. I'm doing the right things. I'm getting stronger. I'm able to increase weight. I'm able to do more reps. But if I keep doing the same movements over and over and over again, and I don't change those different variables like the weight, and I don't change the reps, and I don't even change the workout itself, if I do the same workout for 3 months, I'm gonna see a good increase over the first like 4 weeks. After week 8, week 9, I'm plateauing, right? I'm going straight, and I'm not seeing as much progress over time. So that's why, because we need to give our body a new stimulus to react to. Your body's gonna say, hey, I've done this, I don't even know how many times you're doing 3 to 12. Think of all the reps you're doing if you do that for 8 weeks, right? Your body's like, hey, I need a reason to want to get stronger. I need a reason to want to, break down muscle tissue and be able to get back stronger. If I'm doing the same things over and over again, my body doesn't have a reason to adapt. It's called the SAID principle. The SAID principle says that our bodies will adapt to the stimulus that we put on it. So if I just keep doing the same things over and over and over again, that'll give my body no reason to adapt. And if I'm not adapting, I'm not really getting stronger, right? And every week you should be trying to make incremental progress by either, again, increasing the weight, increasing the reps, throughout those 4 to 6 weeks. So if I'm just doing the same 3 sets of 10 for 4 to 6 weeks at the same exact weight, again, I should see progress from like week 1 to week 2 to week 3, maybe week 4. If I'm not changing anything up, I'm starting to plateau a little bit. Week 5, same thing. Week 6, my body's like, bro, I need something new to be able to help me kind of progress through here, right? So you should be trying to increase the weight or the reps every week, if not every other week, if you can, right? So here's an example. I got my certification through NASM, which is the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and they use something called the OPT model, which is basically starting you out at the bottom, stabilization, and taking you through a progression of strength, and then ultimately into power, if that's your goal as well too. You don't have to use this framework. This is the framework that I learned basically how to structure and periodize my workouts for the clients and myself as well too. But it kind of gives you a good idea of how you should be phasing in and out of your workouts. You shouldn't just be lifting heavy 12 months out of the year. You shouldn't be just lifting light dumbbells 12 months out of the year. You should be lifting lighter sometimes, heavier sometimes, phasing in and out of that, and continue to challenge your body in multiple ways, right? So again, phase 1, what this means is stabilization endurance. You're training in an unstable yet controllable environment. So what this would look like if I'm doing a dumbbell bench press, that means I'm laying on a flat bench and I'm doing dumbbells. If I wanted to make that more unstable but still controllable environment, I would then put my back on a stability ball, right? So I'd, be able to kind of slide out here, have my upper back on a stability ball. I'm squeezing my glutes, and now I'm challenging the base of stability, but I'm still able to control that if I'm squeezing my core, squeezing my glutes, and having a good, a good set feet in the ground and everything like that. And I'm able to control that and still work on, again, slower tempos, controlling that weight as best I can. And that's pretty much what that phase works on. So we're working on low loads, high repetition, really focusing on just the stabilization in those little muscles, and slowing the reps down and adding some more, tempos and things like that into it. That's basically what that looks like. Phase 2, you got strength and endurance. So this is kind of building on that stabilization endurance. They have it where you kind of do supersets with something that's a little bit heavier, something that's back into stability. Again, you don't have to do that. The idea is that you're lifting a now heavier, somewhat heavier load, so it's moderate. With the moderate repetition, 8 to 12 reps. You could take that to 15. It doesn't really matter that much. But now I am not just focusing on more of just the stabilization aspect. I'm now focusing more on me being able to build a little bit more strength. So this is kind of what people talk about when they say, hey, I want to tone up, right? I want to be able to kind of build up the endurance of the muscles to be able to do a high amount of reps. And what that does is, again, it kind of helps me build muscle, but it trains the toning is different than like muscle building. Toning is like, hey, I want to kind of slim things down. I'm going to do a high amount of repetitions for that, right? Then you have the next phase is hypertrophy, right? So I have high volume, moderate to high loads, and then moderate to low repetitions. Again, Some people have different opinions on what hypertrophy training really is. The whole idea is I'm going a little bit heavier. I am changing up the volume in which I'm doing. So I'm adding an increased amount of volume. Instead of doing 3 sets of 8, I may be doing 4 sets of 8, 5 sets of 8, right? Moderate to high lows. So the weight should be a little bit heavier than it is in the phases before that. And again, you should be kind of pushing this. Again, the whole goal is to be able to build and pack on muscle here. And I kind of forgot to mention with the strength endurance, this is again kind of still tempo work. And when I say tempo, that means focusing on the eccentric, which is the lowering of the dumbbells. It's more controlled, right? And I pop back up. Obviously, I'm going to fire fast up. Could fire slow up as well too, but ideally you want to go fast up with the concentric portion or the push of most exercises. So the strength endurance, the stabilization endurance is a lot more tempo work. Maybe I add an isometric in there, really let those muscles feel it before I drive it off into the concentric phase. Hypertrophy, that is again more of, I may not be focusing as much on the tempo. I'm kind of just trying to bang out and get a good burn, get a good pump there. You obviously have maximal strength. What the goal is, hey, I don't really care how my muscles look. I don't really care about being able to control this weight. I want to be able to move the heaviest amount of weight that I can, obviously with good form, but just so much more different than the phases before, right? Hypertrophy doesn't really focus on being as strong as possible. It's moderate to higher weight, moderate to higher lows. With the maximal strength, you're staying anywhere from like 1 to 5 reps on this thing, right? And I really want to be able to just put the most output that I can on that muscle group, which is again different than all the other phases. Power would be phase 5 as well too. Obviously, you're trying to perform these things as fast as possible. That's your hang cleans, that's your speed benches. The weight's a lot lighter, but I'm trying to move it as fast as I can. And again, the whole idea is just to be able to phase in and out of this. So I'm not going to do hypertrophy for the rest of my life. I'm not going to do max strength for the rest of my life. I may have bits and pieces of these things in my program, but I should be able to kind of phase back into that stabilization, endurance, strength, endurance phase when, hey, I've been lifting heavy as hell for 4 or 5 months. Let me kind of give my muscles a little slack. I'm not going to take a month off of the gym, but I'm going to peel back on the loads a little bit and kind of go and focus back more on technique work. Focus on my eccentric phases and loading up that muscle a little bit more, and focus on maybe going a little bit lighter with it to give my body again that rest and recovery. Because if I just go hard, I'm gonna tear my body down, right? And the whole idea is to break the body down, rest and recover for it to build back up stronger and rinse and repeat that cycle. But if I'm just killing it, and I'm not allowing myself to rest and recover from that, then I'm not gonna be building muscle over time, and I'm just gonna be working my body into a pretty much death pit. All right. So what are the different systems we can use for resistance training? This could be a split routine, an upper lower body split, or a full body split. Split routine is basically I'm splitting up different muscle groups on different days. So again, I have, Monday, for example, if I'm doing 3 days a week, Monday will be chest and shoulders, Wednesday will be legs and core, Friday will be back and biceps. An upper lower body split would be I train everybody on one day, lower body on a different day, and I repeat that system as many times as I can throughout the week. Full body training, obviously, I'm hitting pretty much a broad and specific. I'm trying to hit all the muscle groups, all the major muscle groups, whatever it is, but I'm hitting upper body and lower body all on the same day. This doesn't say, or I'll phrase this a different way. You don't have to stick to just one of these systems. Me personally, for an example, right, I would usually do either a split routine or an upper body, lower body split. For the summertime in our gym, it gets a lot busier for me, so I'm not able to train 4 or 5 times a week like I usually would and usually like to. So now I can only maybe fit in by like a two time a week training. I'm not going to do an upper body, lower body split, right? I'm going to more so do like a full body split where I'm targeting, pretty much every single muscle group I can on one day. And again, summer is only like 2 to 3 months, right? I'm not going to take that much of a hit in my training, but that allows me to still be able to hit all the muscle groups and not have to worry about, damn, I only hit chest on one day this week. I didn't get to legs at all this week because, I had this meeting come up and I didn't know. It's like, depending on your schedule and your goals and all these different things and what it looks like, you can choose any one of these. And the variety is just what makes it so beautiful, because you can choose from all these different things, right? So taking into consideration, you have the split routine, the upper lower body split, and the full body split. Here are that's pretty much the same thing I just gave to you. You guys can take a screenshot of that if you want to, but the different training systems we could use, right? So we have the single set, which is basically I perform 1 set for each exercise. I do 1 set of 8 for a barbell squat, right? Again, people have different goals. You can do that if you want to. It doesn't really matter. I usually kind of do maybe 1 or 2 sets for my warm up or 1 or 2 sets for my stretches, right? That's just a single set. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Multiple set, I perform a multiple number of sets for each exercise. So I go 3 sets of 8 for my barbell squats, 4 sets of 5 for my barbell bench, whatever it is. You get the gist. I'm doing multiple sets for each exercise. You have the pyramid set, which is increasing or decreasing the weight and or reps with each set, right? So for example, let's say I'm going to do 4 sets of a squat, right? And I want to go pyramid, but I'm going to take that pyramid. I'm going to start with something a little bit lighter. And then as I get heavier, I'm going to decrease the reps, right? So my first set of squats will be 12 reps, right? My next set would be 10 reps. My third set would be 8 reps, and my last set would be 6 reps. With obviously the goal of, if I'm decreasing the amount of reps that I'm doing, I should be able to increase the amount of weight that I'm doing, which is, again, putting a different stimulus on the body than just saying, hey, I'm going to do 3 reps no matter what and just build up, right? It's a different way to train. A drop set is performing a set to failure, then removing a small percentage of that weight and continuing with the set. This is pretty much used as a superset. So I'm, taking a bench, for example, to failure. Doesn't necessarily have to be till failure. You can maybe leave like 1 or 2 in the tank or have a desired amount of reps that you want in there. But the idea is, hey, I want this thing to be kind of hard and heavy and I want to hit it. And then right after, it's pretty much back to back. I'm taking that weight off, 10 to 15 seconds of a rest, and I'm getting as many reps as I can, still targeting that same muscle group with the same exercise. You have circuit training, which is performing a series of exercises one after another with minimal rest. So that is, hey, if I'm, doing a bench, a squat, a shoulder press, and a bicep curl, I'm trying to hit those things. I do from the bench. Maybe take 10 to 15 seconds to get to the next one. I'm doing the bicep curl. Then I'm going, back to back into that one. But I'm not taking as much rest in between. It's another superset. So I could put 4, 5, 6 different exercises together, hit them back to back to back to back, and then have a minimal amount of rest in between there, which is, again, kind of training the obviously cardio aspect of it. But again, if I'm crunched for time, it helps me to be able to do this. This is a different way to work out as well too. And then last but not least, you have HIIT training, which is, again, just a different variation. It stands for high intensity interval training. That's an acronym. And you're performing short bursts of exercises at a high intensity, alternating with a brief period of rest. So most people could do like a 20-10 or 20-20. Let's say I have 20 seconds to do as many med ball slams as possible. Then I take 10 seconds of rest and I do, same thing. I could do med ball where I have something different. I do jump rope 20 seconds, right? I do push-ups 20 seconds, whatever it is, right? But the whole idea is the workout that I'm doing is high intensity. The intensity is high. I want to go as hard as I can. And then I want to take a short rest in between and go as hard as I can again, which is another kind of cardio aspect of training as well too. The whole idea is to give you guys all these different systems so that you can go and apply them to your training. So you're not doing the same things over and over and over again. Like I was saying, I could be lifting heavy for maybe 3 months. That 4th month, I'm trying to scale things down, or the 4th month, I want to kind of do some circuit training in between, right? It doesn't really matter, but the whole idea is to not do the same things over and over and over again, because you want to be able to give your bodies different things to adapt and respond to so that it has to continue to change, if that makes sense, all right? So there are different training tools we can use, right? Well, it depends on what we have access to. I personally recommend you guys have a gym. Go to a gym with multiple tools that you can use so you can have some variety. If you can't pay for a gym, it's understandable, right? Maybe you have some dumbbells at home or whatever it is, but these are different things that you can use in terms of how you build your system of training and different things that you can use when you're building your program, right? So we have free weights, which is our barbells and dumbbells. You have cable machines, which are the things with obviously like the pulleys and everything. Strength training machines, which are like, the machines where you're sitting down. You have a machine chest press, right? So you can only do 1 of 2 really functions in there. Some strength training machines are multifunctional, but the idea is that it's a machine, you're hitting a main muscle group for that machine, and only focusing on that. You have elastic resistance, so that's bands. You have, they call them the booty bands, the skinny bands you put around your knees or your ankles, and you're doing different exercises. You have the long bands for like band pull-aparts, band curls, things like that. But elastic resistance is another one. You have kettlebells. That's the thing, with the ring on top and it has a little ball on the bottom. We can use those as well too, multiple different ways, and those are good as well. You have medicine balls, which are the weighted balls for like med ball slams. Maybe you're doing some core with it. Again, it's a weighted ball is what a medicine ball is. You have a stability ball or a Bozu ball. I forgot what the Bozu acronym is, but the stability ball, or like a yoga ball, is like a big inflated ball that has pretty much no weight to it. You can use it like I was talking about for that bench press to train that stability or instability rather. The Bozo ball is pretty much it's a yoga ball cut in half with the black platform on the bottom. And then you have body weight, obviously, including suspension. So you have like your TRX, you have your rings, body weight push-ups, body weight squats. I have even seen people, have a backpack and I put milk cartons or books in a backpack that weighs a certain amount. If I don't have access to these different things, I can get creative with it, right? The best thing would be, hey, if I can go to a gym or if I have an apartment gym or build my own gym, I have access to the stuff. If not, we can get creative and build things out and still attack our goals. But there shouldn't be an excuse to say, hey, I can't do something. Everybody can do something, right? Don't make that excuse for yourself and sell yourself short when you're saying, hey, I can't do this because I don't have access to this. Well, there's different options you can have, right? And different things you can afford. So again, just think about that. So let's go through some sample programs here. And this is just kind of taking you guys through a system that I use. I have something that's pretty cool. It's color coded here. But we're starting with, let's say I started like the 1st of July. I kind of wrote this out a little bit a while ago, but just to kind of give you guys a framework and a structure, you don't have to do this exact program, but this is something that you can do if you're looking for a program to do, right? And so basically we start right here. So I have the inhibit, right? And let me backtrack a little bit. We're starting right here. What I pretty much have in here is what my warm-up looks like. So all my warm-up is in this color. I have inhibit. The inhibit basically is a foam roller or any tool that you use in terms of like a massage gun or anything that you want to do to kind of put some pressure on that muscle is what inhibit means. So for this one, I have, I'm inhibiting my pec minor, maybe with like a tennis ball or a crossbar or something like that for 30 seconds. Another muscle, same thing, right? AIS, it stands for active isolated stretching. I just put that in there specifically because that's different than regular stretching. A regular stretch, you hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. An active isolated stretch, you may hold it for like 3 to 5 seconds, in and out of that range of motion for a certain amount of reps. So I could just say, hey, I'm doing a chest stretch for 30 seconds, or I'm doing an active isolated stretch where I hold that chest stretch for 3 to 5 seconds and I relax, hold it for another 35 seconds and then relax. I do that for the amount of reps that I have, right? So again, I have all these different things in there, mobility, activation, and plyos, because I don't want to go into my workout cold, right? So after I stretch out, I have good range of motion with everything, I want to warm the muscles up, right? So I have activations or different warm-ups that you could use to be able to wake the body up, wake the muscles up, and prepare yourself for activity. You don't want to just walk in the gym and then just start benching. Over time, people could do that. Over time, you risk the potential of you getting hurt. So this is a pretty cool structure, right? I have all this stuff in here. I have the amount of sets I'm doing, the reps I'm doing. If I add a tempo in there, the rest, and then once I finish, I can obviously put that into with the sets as well too. This will kind of make sense more so at the bottom. But you could also see, right, I'm starting right here with that goal of max strength. So if you remember in phase 4 of that pyramid or the little stairs that I had in there, the 4th was max strength. So for this program, that's what I'm doing for this one right here. Okay. So after I finish all of the stretches, all the mobility, all the activation exercises, I'm starting with the barbell bench, right? And this is what that program looks like. So I have my strength block set up. This is block 1, block 2, block 3. Don't have a block 4 in here, but I have a cardio and a finisher and a cool down and a stretch, and then any notes kind of down there at the bottom, right? And so again, it's color coded because it's easy for me to see it. It's pretty cool. You don't have to do this, but again, this is a good framework to be able to kind of say, hey, I'm going to structure my exercises in this way, and I just start at the top and I go right down to the bottom, and I can plug and play this in, and you're going to see how this makes sense after, right? So kind of just to go through this really quickly, we have the barbell bench. I do this for 4 sets of 3 with the goal of max strength. So again, that 1 to 5 rep range. My goal is try to hit 3 to 4 working sets of a heavier weight, anywhere from like 80, 90, maybe 95%, maybe even 100% of whatever I could do for that day, which looks different for everybody else. The tempo I have, if I have, for this example, I put 2, 0, 1, 2/0/1. The first portion is the eccentric, so I'm going down for 1, 2 seconds. 0 means there's no pause in the middle, so there's no isometric. And the 1 is just basically, I want to fire that barbell off my chest as fast as I can with that 1 second, right? So I'm going down for 2, no pause at the bottom, and I pop back up for 1. And I rest in between for about 2 to 5 minutes for each set right there. And again, as I go through it, let's say I do, 205, then I go 225, then I go 235, whatever, right? Then when I go into my next week, I can say, oh, I did this week, right? I go and I copy paste this, and you're going to see over here, I have it copy pasted already, but I go from July 1st to July 8th, right? So I'm doing it next week. Already have the entire workout that I did the week before, and I have the amount of reps that I did in there as well too. So now I can say, oh, I did this. Let me either try to do this again or go a little bit better. Or I go in and I'm not feeling the best, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna tone it down a little bit, but I'm still keeping track of the weights that I'm doing so that I can see my progression over time, right? In the next block, I go low incline, double chest press with a seated cable row. That's 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 10. I'm supersetting those two with the 1 to 2 minute rest in between, okay? Then I go cable chest fly, hanging leg raises, banded scarecrow. You get the gist. Then I have a cable tricep pull down finisher, hit 100, get some good pump, get a good pump in there, good blood flow. I get a chest stretch, a lat stretch, and then I make any rows in there. Didn't feel good, need to spend more time warming up, whatever it is, right? I'm plugging that in. So that was my max strength. This is just for, again, my general pop, because I want to give you guys a broad array of the same type of things we can do, just in a different format, right? And so we have pretty much the same stretches that we had up top. I'm going down to the strength block now. Instead of me doing one exercise with the goal of max strength, what am I doing? I'm looking for strength, endurance, and weight loss, right? So now we're getting more into not necessarily the circuit training, but I'm supersetting a lot more exercises in between just to keep my body moving, right? And again, I'm not hitting the same muscle group, so I can hit these things back to back to back and then take a little bit of rest in between, right? So you got the barbell bench, seated cable row, and then hanging leg raises. 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 12. I superset, and I take a 1 to 2 minute rest in between. I do those for 3 sets, and then I move on to the next block. Same thing, right? Low incline dumbbell chest, farmer's carries, whatever it is. So again, the workouts itself, do they matter? Obviously, right? But they don't matter in the grand scheme of things, so long as you're hitting the muscle groups that are obviously going to get you stronger, maybe some of your weaker points, and you're obviously hitting things that align with your goals. So if I don't really care to have the strongest legs in the world, I'm not going to do a heavy ass back squat, right? I may do some lunges. I may do some things for range of motion. What are my goals is the first question you need to ask yourself. From there, you can build out your workout program to the way that you want to do it, okay? Then we have cardio at the end as well too. Again, it doesn't really matter. Program for yourself how you want to do it. So just kind of show you guys the progression, right? Let's say I start here. I'm doing 4 sets of 3. I got 8 to 10, right? For my low incline bench press for the next week, we're going to scroll over, right? And I may do, instead of 8 reps now, I'm doing 10 reps, right? So let's say I can do the same weight for 10 reps. That's good because I've increased. Let's say maybe I can even do a little bit more than last week. Even better, right? And I go from 10 to 12 again, but I shouldn't be doing 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 8. Try to increase, right? Increase the weight, increase the reps. That's the whole goal, is to challenge our bodies every time we get into the gym. And it may not be you may not hit a PR every single day. It may not be your best day, but it's the best day that you can have. You're going to push yourself as hard as you can for that day and then track your progress over time. And you're going to see how much muscle you're going to build, right? And again, kind of similar to that. So I go from barbell bench, 8 reps, 10 reps. You see it, right? It's just a progression. Now, how can we phase from this program into the next one, right? So I have barbell bench, seated cable rows, whatever. Same thing, low incline bench. So I'm going to take the same template, but I'm just going to plug in different exercises, right? So this is how it looks. So from July 1st to August 1st, I'm doing this one exercise, from July 1st to August 1st, I'm doing this one template. When I get to August, I'm going to switch it up. So it may have the same stretches, whatever it is, different mobility. But now instead of doing a barbell, I'm going to do an incline barbell, right? Instead of doing a low incline bench, I'm going to do a dumbbell floor press. Instead of doing a seated cable row, I'm going to do a half kneeling single arm cable row, right? Dips, ab wheel. Again, I'm not doing the same workouts every time, but I'm still focusing on similar muscle groups, and I'm changing up the way that I'm doing the thing. Same thing for you guys, right? Barbell incline, half kneeling table row, ab wheel, right? I'm still targeting a lot of the same muscles, and it's easy for me to just plug in different exercises based on my goal, right? And so that's just a template that I want to kind of show you guys, just so you get an idea of how you phase from one workout to another, how you kind of go up and down that system depending on your goals, and how you can just plug and play different exercises with this template. If you guys do want this template, I can send you a raw blank template. You can plug in your own exercises and have them on there. I just use Google Worksheet, Google Spreadsheet. You can use Excel, whatever it is. You can even use various apps out there. There's Train Heroic, and many different apps that you can have where you don't have to have it on like a laptop or paper. You can use the app, and it's easier for you to do it that way. The last point that I have here is going to be persistence, right? And so we talk about persistence because it's easy for you to fall off track when things aren't looking like how they should. You have a certain goal, and it's hard because you've been doing X, Y, and Z for a good amount of time, maybe a month, and you're not seeing any results. And guys, I'm here to tell you that this does not happen overnight. The biggest example I like to give people is, say, oh, I gained this weight over COVID. Well, it took you a year, maybe 2 years to put on this 40, 50 pounds. Why are you not giving yourself that same amount of time and the same amount of love to lose that weight? Why do you expect to lose the 50 pounds you gained over a year and lose it in 3 months? That's just not realistic, right? We have to change our habits. We have to change a whole lot of different things to be able to get to where we're trying to get to. And the whole idea is just to see it through and just to know that if I'm doing the right things, I should see that progress over a good amount of time. And if I'm doing and practicing healthy habits, eventually I'm going to get there, right? If I'm with somebody who has been sitting on the couch for an entire year and hasn't done anything to change, but I'm another person who's consistently, right, as consistent as I could. I went to the gym 3 times a week. I ate within, reason in terms of my calories and how much protein I'm supposed to have. I'm going to be completely different a year from now than when I started. And the person that's been sitting on the couch, he might even get worse. The whole idea is I'm putting in that time and I'm putting in that discipline and that persistence, right? So your results will rely heavily on your effort and your consistency. So how much am I really, really putting into my fitness goals? How bad do I really want to get to where I'm trying to get to? How strong am I really trying to get for college? How much weight am I really trying to lose? How much weight do I believe I can lose? And how consistent can I be in terms of going and hitting that gym and eating the right way over and over and over again? Because this is a game of consistency. That's all it is, right? And so there will be days where you don't feel like working out, right? There will be days where your day is busier than you thought. There may even days you wake up and you're like, bro, I feel like shit. Excuse my French. And you have to obviously read and listen to and understand your body. We can't make excuses for why we can't go to the gym. Having a feeling or saying, hey, I don't feel like working out today, too bad. Your results don't rely on how you feel, right? I don't feel like working out. Maybe I'm a little sleepy because I didn't sleep that well last night. That's different. Somebody pissed me off today, and or maybe I'm just not in the mood to go. Like, if you're basing your decisions in your life based off of your mood, you're not going to be able to get anywhere with your fitness progress, right? Your day is busier than you thought. So now, it's Monday and I was supposed to work out in the evening, but, I had a project that I had to stay late for. Damn, I'm mad. Okay, you still have Tuesday, right? So I missed on Monday. I'm going to go on Tuesday and go do it. But don't say, oh, I missed this day. So, that's it. I'm going to chalk it up, and then you give up on yourself, right? And if your body is shot, like, again, just listen to your body. Like, I don't feel good today. I do need to take a rest day. But again, don't fall too far off the wagon. I'm going to miss today and have a plan to go back in tomorrow at this time, right? And just what I kind of want to hit this home with is to basically don't make the outcome the goal, make the action the goal, right? The whole idea is, yes, obviously I have a plan and a goal. I want to lose 40 pounds. I want to put on 10 to 15 pounds. I want to build muscle, but I'm going to make the actions that I have the goal instead of me saying, hey, I'm going to make me losing 50 pounds the goal, right? So I'm not just going to lose 50 pounds. I'm also going to eat the way I'm supposed to. I'm going to eat 100 grams of protein every single day. I'm going to exercise 3 to 4 times a week, doing full body exercise and have an actual routine built in there. And I'm going to hold myself accountable to those actions. So now if I don't eat 100 grams of protein a day, that I didn't hit my goal. If I don't hit the gym that 3 to 4 times a week, I didn't hit my goal. So if I don't hit my actionable goal, how do I expect to reach my outcome goal, right? So think about it like that. You just kind of want to reverse it. Obviously, you have that big picture in mind, but you want to be able to take that big picture and write it down into little steps. So step one, I'm going to eat this many protein, eat this many carbs, and I'm going to exercise 3 to 4 times a week. I'm going to do cardio twice a week. I'm going to stop going out, whatever it is, right? But those actions, those actionable things you can actually implement into your life is what you want to make as the goal, right? So to wrap all this up, right? What do we learn in total? We want to prioritize protein. The gold standard, again, you want to have 0.7 grams per pound of body weight, or if you're using that kilogram scale, it's 1 to 5.1.6 kilograms per body weight. So depending on what your body weight is will dictate how much protein you can eat. Again, that's the gold standard. You can eat above that. Going too low below that, you may not be able to maintain and pack on as much muscle as you would like. You have your periodization. You plan your workouts and you execute. It's a lot easier for you to have a plan than to kind of just walk in the gym and just be like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do today, but I'm going to do something. Good. I love it. You're better than the next person who's just walking there and doing something. But there's no way for you to be able to track your progress over time if you're just walking in and doing anything and everything every single time you walk in there. Create a plan, get serious, and then execute that plan. It's a lot easier for you to do it that way. And obviously, be persistent, right? Even when you don't think it's working, it's working. And don't be so quick to quit on yourself. Give yourself that same time and say, hey, if it took me a year to put on all this weight, let me really, really, really dedicate this next year of my life to the things that I need to do, right? To that actionable goal. And then we'll readdress what we were doing wrong, right? That's what we want to do. And yeah, guys, I mean, that's pretty much all it is to it. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. If you have any questions, hit the comments. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I'll go ahead and link those in the description as well too. And again, if you like this, if this was helpful, please like, please subscribe. And just appreciate you guys showing support. I'm also gonna link my merch into the description as well too. Is Deuce Fit. So if you guys want to support there, and get you some cool gear, some cool exercise gear, man, I greatly appreciate it and would love to see you win it. Until next time, I'll see you guys, and thank you for tuning in.